SpaceX just made two shocking changes to Flight 10 prep. First, Ship 37's engine was suddenly replaced. Was there a hidden flaw or an upgrade plan? And then, in a move no one expected, SpaceX canceled the iconic booster catch attempt with Booster 16. Is Elon Musk rethinking risk, or is there something bigger going on behind the scenes? The answers could redefine Starship's next steps. So what's really going on, and how does this affect Starship's long-term mission to orbit and beyond? As preparations for Starship's 10th flight continue, SpaceX has confirmed the Super Heavy booster will not be caught this time. So, why skip the catch attempt? Flight 10 of SpaceX's Starship program is likely just a couple of weeks away, and preparations are accelerating on all fronts. The latest developments at the launch site have introduced some unexpected twists, including the reinstallation of a key system at Pad 1. Meanwhile, over at Launch Pad A, engineers removed the ring wall from the orbital launch mount, basically the star stool that supports the upper stage during static fires, and brought it back to the Sanchez site. This system had previously been dismantled following a successful round of tests with Ship 37, but is now back in place. The surprise return of this hardware strongly suggests that SpaceX intends to test Ship 37 again. The test stand has already been transported back to the launch pad and lifted into position atop the orbital launch mount. Meanwhile, over at the production site, there has been notable change involving the Raptor Vacuum engines. Things move fast after that. Ship 37 was quickly rolled back to Mega Bay 2 for final preparations, finishing the heat shield, installing the flight termination system, inspecting the Raptor engines post-burn, and so on. Earlier, they had to remove them to make room for the ring wall adapter used during Ship 37's recent static fire. These clamps are critical components of the system, designed to firmly secure the Super Heavy booster during pre-launch operations. One of the vacuum-optimized Raptors appears to have encountered a problem during the previous round of testing, prompting SpaceX to swap it out. Workers were seen removing a vacuum Raptor engine from inside Mega Bay 2 and bringing a different one in. It seems that just one day after returning to the bay, Ship 37 was found to have an issue with its engine system. This kind of issue detection during the ground test phase is actually a positive development. It allows engineers to address problems early, preventing more serious complications during flight. Things became even clearer when, shortly after reinstalling those 15 clamps, the team took them off again. A strong signal that the ring wall was about to make a return, and sure enough, it was. The ring wall was transported back to Pad 1, around the same time they swapped the vacuum Raptor engine. This strongly suggests that Starship 37 will need to go through an engine spin prime, or another static fire test, to verify the newly installed vacuum engine. That could be due to several reasons. For example, during the full-duration static fire, even though all three RVAC engines appeared to perform well, sensor data might have revealed something unusual, like abnormal vibrations, unstable chamber pressure, or a possible leak in the propulsion system. Raptor engines are incredibly complex machines, with components like turbopumps, nozzles, and regenerative cooling systems. Even a minor issue after high-thrust operation can raise serious concerns. Another possibility is that the test data showed the engine didn't quite meet the expected thrust or efficiency, especially considering that the vacuum Raptor is optimized for performance in space. While the exact cause hasn't been officially confirmed, many in the community are questioning why SpaceX is going through all the trouble of modifying Pad A again, just for another round of testing instead of simply skipping it altogether. After all, they've replaced engines in the past, without needing to run another full static fire. This is especially important now, given that Starship has faced issues in 3 separate launches so far this year. As a result, the ship's segment will receive close scrutiny in the lead-up to Flight 10. As of now, no official schedule has been announced for Ship 37's next movement or test. However, it's unlikely to take long to reinstall the test rig and secure the newly installed engine. Based on community feedback and recent observations, it now seems likely the full engine test will last only around 10 seconds, rather than the minute-long duration previously expected. The shorter duration is due to limitations in the Pad 1 water deluge system, which lacks the capacity and design of a traditional flame trench used for extended firings. In contrast, Booster 16, designated for Flight 10 alongside Ship 37, has been relatively quiet following its hot staging event and transfer to the Mega Bay. It's currently unclear whether this booster has had its engines installed yet or if any final upgrades have been completed. However, activity is starting to pick up. The booster transport stand has been moved into the Mega Bay, indicating that Booster 16 may soon be rolled out to the Rocket Garden. This move could either be for final outfitting or to free up space inside the Mega Bay for stacking upcoming boosters. As Flight 10 approaches, more answers about Booster 16 and Ship 37 will soon come into focus. For now, attention is turning toward what we can expect from the mission itself. According to recent internal sources, SpaceX has decided not to attempt catching Booster 16 on this upcoming flight. Instead, the booster will perform a soft water landing in the Gulf of Mexico, and then explode shortly after impact. Now, this hasn't been officially confirmed, but if true, it's a strange move. Booster 16 isn't a reused booster like Booster 14 was, so there's no obvious reason to discard it this way. However, many believe this won't actually happen, since SpaceX is still aiming to conduct more catch attempts using Mechazilla in upcoming tests. This decision is both logical and somewhat surprising. On one hand, it makes sense to continue testing landing techniques in the ocean, as was done with Booster 10 and Booster 9 before it. On the other hand, Booster 16 is a brand new booster and scrapping it after a single use might appear wasteful. However, the reality is that Flight 10 will serve as an important technical milestone, focusing on several complex landing maneuvers. These include the active landing flip immediately after stage separation, a descent at a higher angle of attack and a landing attempt using only 2 engines. Each of these objectives presents a high degree of difficulty and increases the risk of mission failure. Moving the variable of a catch attempt simplifies the mission and allows SpaceX to concentrate fully on gathering data from these experimental landing techniques. To support these efforts, several modifications are being made. For the landing flip maneuver, adjustments are likely being made to the hot staging ring to accommodate the aerodynamic and control changes needed. Right now, the site only shows early construction, reinforced concrete pilings and a deep foundation, but no visible infrastructure to confirm what exactly this will be. Still, based on the name, many believe it's a heavy-duty bunker, likely designed to shield critical systems, equipment, and even mission control staff during Starship launches or static fires. And considering its close proximity to the launch tower, this could serve as a hardened observation or command post, providing a safe space for engineers and key personnel in the event of an emergency. And this kind of development is more than necessary, because in the future, Starbase Texas is set to become the key launch site for humanity's most ambitious missions to the Moon and Mars. The descent at a steeper angle will test the booster's structural strength and the resilience of critical subsystems. Having a landing with just 2 engines will place extra demands on the engine system's reliability and control, especially under conditions of repeated ignition and shutdown. It's very likely that Booster 16 underwent reinforcement and thorough inspections during its time in the Mega Bay, and this level of attention will continue right up until launch day. These tests, though they may not result in a recovered booster, are laying the groundwork for much more efficient and successful flights in the near future. For example, perfecting the active landing flip and high-angle descent will help conserve fuel, extending the range and utility of Starship missions. Mastering 2-engine landings will give SpaceX the flexibility to complete a landing even in the event of an engine failure. These advances will eventually make catch attempts more viable, reducing risks and increasing reusability. So while Booster 16 may not be recovered, it will play a vital role in pushing the Starship program forward. Its contribution will help pave the way for the next generation of vehicles and recovery systems. Looking even further ahead, the decision not to attempt a catch with Booster 16 also marks a step toward the long-anticipated Booster 3 era. So keep an eye on all the upcoming developments and continue supporting the Starship program. If you're a setter for Flight 10, type 10 in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with every step of SpaceX's bold journey toward making life multi-planetary. Now let us shift our focus to the next major step. At first, most people thought Super Heavy was already working well. Compared to Starship's upper stage, the lower stage looked more stable. It had already landed 3 times using the big arms on the launch tower in test flights 5, 7, and 8. But Flight 9 showed a new problem. When SpaceX tried to bring the booster back, it failed. This showed that Super Heavy was not fully reusable yet, but reports also revealed that the 14th booster ran into a serious issue during its return. It started off fine. It made a burn to slow down, and even did a test flip in the air. But then, one of the engines in the middle group of 13 engines shut off too early. That engine was needed to land properly. It turned out that a filter for the liquid oxygen may have gotten clogged. This filter is important because it keeps the fuel flowing at the right pressure. Around 3.5 minutes after launch, at about 90 kilometers over the Gulf of Mexico, the filter may have blocked the oxygen. That caused the pressure to drop quickly, and the engine could not keep running. To make things harder, SpaceX was testing a new kind of flip movement on this flight. It involved the booster turning at a higher angle while coming down. This added more air pressure and made things more unstable. In the end, the signal from the rocket stopped about 6 minutes and 20 seconds into the flight. The booster exploded in the air and then fell into the ocean. This failure clearly showed that the fuel system needed changes, so SpaceX started working on a big upgrade. Just 2 days ago, they showed the new part. A huge pipe inside the booster. This pipe will be added in the next version of Super Heavy called Block 3. SpaceX posted pictures of the new part on the social media platform X. Right away, people noticed how big it looked. According to the company, the pipe is almost the same size as the first stage of their smaller rocket, Falcon 9. In one picture, you can see workers lifting the pipe and lowering it into the booster. The pipe takes up about 1/3 of the rocket's width. That means it is nearly 3 meters across. Even though that is a bit smaller than Falcon 9's diameter of 3.66 meters. It is still huge for just one piece inside a rocket. The pipe is made of stainless steel. This material is strong, cheap, and can handle the extremely cold temperatures of the fuel used in Starship. Liquid methane and liquid oxygen. These liquids are much colder than the coldest ice age. SpaceX made the pipe by welding together several smaller parts. The full length is about 20 to 25 meters. Around the outside of the pipe, they added many circular steel rings. Each ring is welded carefully around the pipe to keep it from breaking under stress. These rings help the pipe stay strong during launch and landing, especially at the joints where it is weaker. So what does this big pipe do? SpaceX explained that this pipe moves the cold fuel from the big tank inside Super Heavy to the engines. It helps the engines start more reliably and flip the rocket more smoothly during landing. But people still had questions. That is when Musk gave more detail. He said that this pipe is actually more like a second fuel tank than just a pipe. It is built to be extremely strong. Because if it leaks, the rocket will fail. Its job is to take the cold liquid methane and oxygen from the big tank and send them to all 33 engines in a balanced way. It is very important. During the landing when the rocket needs to turn fast and fire its engines at just the right moment. When the booster does this turning movement, it feels a strong push. That push can move the remaining fuel inside the tank. Imagine shaking a large bottle of water. The fuel moves around a lot and that can make it hard to keep feeding the engines properly. Liquid oxygen is very heavy at about 1,141 kilograms per cubic meter. Methane is lighter at about 422 kilograms per cubic meter. So together they have a lot of weight and movement. Each engine needs about 2,000 kilograms of fuel every second. If the pressure in the fuel drops for even a moment, the engine might not light. That is why this pipe is so important. It takes fuel from the main tank, keeps the pressure steady, and sends it to smaller pipes that go to each engine. Even when the rocket is spinning and shaking, the fuel keeps flowing properly. The pipe has to deal with both types of fuel. Because of this, it is also insulated to keep the temperature steady and avoid problems.
And that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and that's all for today's update. If you enjoyed watching and found it useful, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. And if you want to support our channel and if you want to be up to date, you can become an exclusive member, so click on our perks through the link in the description below. Thanks to watching and see you next time.